Hello, welcome to Perfectly Twisted with Nicole Eggert and my good friend Dave Palais.
Good to see you, Nicole.
How you doing?
It's good. Doing fine. We're talking though, just in case people are wondering, why does the show look a little bit different? Our layout's a little bit different, and you can tell I've been in the sun a lot. I
Oh,
think sunburn it's January, so I don't know what to say, but at the same time, it's a little bit different. But I think they're getting a closer look at all of us in this
yeah,
new layout.
the app apparently did an update, and when we logged into it this morning, it looked a little different, but different is good. I mean, change is always nice. It's fresh and
It
new.
is. It
Um,
is.
yeah, so weird times. I mean, I know it's so hot, and then it's supposed to like have heavy rains this weekend. I have never seen I mean, I have been born and raised in Southern California. I have never seen this kind of shitstorm of weather. Like, what in the fuck is really going on? It was so windy again the other day. It was like 80-mile-an-hour winds at my place. It's like the windows are cracking. Then today, the kids, I drop them off at school. They're in tank tops and shorts because it's going to be
Yep.
in the 80s. And everybody's preparing for torrential rains because there's going to be mudslides by the weekend. I mean, what? What?
Don't
Uh,
say that too loud. People don't believe in extreme weather. A lot of people say we don't know what we're talking about.
yeah,
You know,
well,
that's it's exactly what everyone said was going to happen, right? When
yeah,
people, not to get political, but when people talk about global warming, it's extreme conditions either side. It's not that it just gets hotter. It means it can
right.
get really cold, which we've had in the 30s this week, which is weird because this morning it was 38, and then as you said, this afternoon it's going to be low 80s. It's
Yeah,
just bizarre in the same day.
in the same day. And yeah, global warming does not mean that we're just getting hotter. I mean, you
Yeah,
have to understand what the term is. And yes, it's very real and it's horrifying. It's frightening, but here we are. And the sad part is a lot of places really don't give a shit about California. They're like
huh,
happy to see us like go up in flames, and it's just devastating. It's so sad. I'm doing a fundraiser. I want to anybody who wants to buy merch, 100% of the proceeds are going to a fire victim directly. A dear friend of mine,
awesome.
his cousin, yeah, his family member lost his home. So, please check my Facebook for that, or you can message us here on the website and I can give you more information, but it's the Perfectly Twisted merch. So, yeah, this is not all rich people that went up in flames, guys. There's a lot of struggling people. It's
Exactly.
all walks of life. So,
Exactly.
okay, well, but we have a really fun guest today that I'm super excited about. I know you are
So am
too.
I. So am I.
Uh-huh. So all of you know, Dave and I love our housewives, and I know a lot of you do too. So we are super excited because Jersey is one of the best, right? Like, let's not pretend here. And we are lucky to have Mrs. Jennifer Fessler with us today.
Hi, how you
Hi.
guys?
Can I
Hi.
call you Jen or you go by Jennifer? I mean, I watch the show and everyone calls you Jen, so I think
Absolutely anything. I answer to everything. Believe me, as long as someone's calling my name, I'm happy. But I'm glad to see you both, and I'm glad that you're okay. And I'm so sorry for what California's been through and your friend, and we're thinking about you guys every minute. It's just
Very nice.
horrible.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Dave and I've been very fortunate and we're safe and in, protected
Thank God.
areas, but it's really sad. It's just yeah,
It
it's a
certainly
really
is.
yeah. So let's talk fun stuff. Let's talk fun stuff. So let's like let everybody know how did you even get involved with Housewives? Like how did that
Yeah. So I was friends with Margaret Josephs for a few years before I got on the show. And she started helping me with my business. I have a shoe business called F Major. And I had just, created, I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, but I had created this business and I was kind of lost. And we have a mutual friend who introduced us. And I had known of Margaret because I'm an avid watcher of all things Housewives, of course. And also, I grew up and was best friends with Siggy Flicker for years, which is, there's no drama there. But anyway, we haven't spoken in years. But anyway, then I got introduced to Margaret through a friend that also knew Siggy, blah, blah, blah. And we became friends and we started going out as couples. And she was so wonderful to me and so helpful and mentored me with, F Major. And unbeknownst to me, one day I got a phone call from a casting person, a very sweet girl who said, you've been recommended to us. Margaret has thrown your name in the ring. And, for years, again, I am a Housewives fanatic. So I had kind of like, you picture yourself and what would I do and what would I say? And so it had always been there, but I was way too afraid to ever really pursue it. But when someone comes knocking on your door at age 53 and says potentially, this could happen. And then, so I kind of opened myself up to it, and one thing led to another. And, that phone call led into more phone calls, led into more FaceTimes, led to executives coming to my house. And all of a sudden I was cast on this show, and it was just a complete whirlwind, as you can imagine. And, such a crazy, unbelievable adventure, really.
Because it's like when they started the show and the show, was just coming out, to be part of that is one thing, but to go into it with it already established and
Yeah.
what you're going
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
seems frightening to me. And
Yeah.
then they're in your home, and because I think I would feel like I got to cover all the crazy, but they want to see the crazy, and it's like, how do you open your doors like that and just act normal? Like,
I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. I just know that I opened my door, and then whatever happened kind of thing. I mean, I was growing up, I always wanted to be on stage, and I went to a performing arts high school, and I graduated from college and went to acting school in the city and kind of pretended to be an actress for a few years. I was no good at it and really just waited tables and whatever. And so I'd always liked the idea of being able to be on stage, make people laugh. And so I welcomed it, especially, and I don't mean to always talk about my age, but at 53, you don't get that many knocks on your door to be on a TV show when you've never done anything like that before in your life. So I was petrified and I was excited. And it's a different thing than just doing something in a bubble like acting, I think, because you're interacting, right? And you are in the moment. And so I feel like it was not that difficult because you are literally having to react to what people are saying and doing, in real time. And for whatever reason, I don't know, the nerves went away very quickly. I'm happy to report. But
okay.
I was scared to death. Yeah. I was like, before it actually went down, I was like, what have I done? What am I getting myself into? My life will be over, within a matter of a year, but fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, because I've been in front of the camera since I was 5 years old. I've been on one camera films. I've been on sitcoms where there's 4 cameras.
I know all
But
about it.
when I did my first like reality thing, I got to tell you, I turned around, and the amount of crew and cameras that were in my private space when I was not like prepared for it threw me into like a spin, and I just was like, what is this? If you're not prepared for it, and you get used to it as it goes along, but you turn around and there's numerous cameras from every angle, and every camera has a guy along with it, and it's just like, and then there's the sound guy, and there's just all these people, and it's just it can be quite shocking.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Quite shocking, quite daunting, and I liked it. I don't know, I just did. I of course I was nervous. There's Housewives in particular, in terms of reality shows, there's so much anxiety attached to it, right? I mean, if you are like me, and if you're a fan, you've seen the ups and downs, and you've seen downfalls of marriages, and you've seen, certainly like friendships dissolve and craziness. And I knew specifically Jersey, I was aware of what I was stepping into, and I was definitely nervous, but I don't know, I took to it. I just liked it. And I didn't always like it, for sure. There were days I really, really did not like it, but for the most part, it was just fun. It was such, crazy adventure.
Are you and Margaret still friends?
Yeah. Yeah. Very. I just spoke to her 10 minutes ago.
I always notice, I love that, because I notice a lot when a friend brings a friend in, then that friendship for some reason goes to hell, because the friend that brought them in gets all jealous all of a sudden, gets weird, right? Am I wrong? I mean,
no, I see it. I just saw it on Salt Lake, like Lisa and Angie. There's always that, right? Do you guys watch Salt Lake? I mean, there's constantly that.
Yeah,
Yes, of
all
course.
of them. They like,
I brought you in and you owe me
yeah,
for that,
it's weird.
right? You owe me to
Yeah,
be loyal to me. But I didn't really get that from I didn't get that from Margaret.
I
Like
love her.
there were issues. She would get mad at me about things because I would get into it when I was, became friendly with Teresa, and of course, but not in a way that was like, I own you and you will do like because I brought you in. There was never she never threw that in my face.
That's good to hear. Because
Yeah.
yeah, we're a Margaret. You love Margaret too, right? Don't you, Dave?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. I mean, I love her. I love her style. I love her
I do too.
attitude. She's
The best.
amazing. Yeah. So okay. So it's over. Like, do you know? Like, what are your thoughts on it coming back and what it would look like? And do we?
I don't know. I'm very sad about it. It was
Yeah.
like imagine I'm more sad for the women on the cast that have been doing it for so long. And I can't imagine what that's like, right? To have lived your life for so many years and then all of a sudden not know now what? Is it just over? Is it not over? And none of us have the answers. I have no more of an idea, in terms of what's going to happen to the Housewives of New Jersey than you do. I just don't
Oh,
know. And I don't think my gut is that it's not coming back for quite some time. And probably at least a year, and then what form it's gonna come back in, I don't know.
so
Um,
cameras are not up for sure. Huh?
no, mm-mm, certainly not. And it's sad because I know that, like, Jersey always had such high ratings, and I know people loved it or they love to hate it, which I also did, and I still do for so many of these shows, and you watch social media, and I'll never watch that again, and that was probably I don't know that I ever wrote that on social media, but I'm not watching. Click, I'm turning it off. And then, you're drawn back in. And it's for me, it just provided all of the Housewives shows like so much entertainment over the years. And I think Jersey has really been a huge part of that. So I think it's kind of sad, but I don't know what's going to happen. I
You
don't
know,
know.
you can make the argument New Jersey has been the most entertaining one out of all of them. I mean, it's a firecracker. Every single week you're
I
going
agree.
like, no offense to New York, but New York is anything going to happen? And then with New Jersey, it never disappoints. And that
I
you
agree
like the
with you.
excitement factor of it. And so I'm just curious, did executives ever say anything like, hey, you know what? We have an issue with some of the people that are on the show, and we're going to make a stand here. We're going to take basically, as you said, a hiatus, and not you said, but maybe possibly a year off, and then maybe reboot with different people or some of the same people. But when it gets to a point on one of these shows where there's complete division, where half the cast is on another half, where are they supposed to go? And was there frustration from Andy, Bravo, anybody of like, you guys really ruined a really good thing? Like, what
Yes.
was the talk from
Yes,
executives?
yes, to all of the above, everything you just said. Yes, I think that, it got to a place where people dug their heels in. And I think that on a show like Housewives, that's never a good thing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, we've seen people do horrific things to each other, not just on New Jersey, but on all of these shows. And maybe if it wasn't a job, you wouldn't have to bounce back. But, this is part of what this is conflict resolution. And everybody always says that. And the truth is, if there's not going to be any resolution, how can there be more show? Right. So, like, where are we going to go from here? And I think that was really frustrating for all of us, for the network, for the producers. How do you make a show if people won't work together? And yeah, I think that it just got to a certain level where they didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do. And so they put it on pause. Whether or not it will ever come back, I can only hope, but I think the way that you think, I think it was just too much.
What about Jen Aiden? Are you friends with her?
We have not spoken in a long time. We were definitely friendly on the show when the show was filming. And then after the show wrapped, there was some stuff that had come out on social media. And that was hard to read and that I was disappointed in. And I don't want to even go into it, but, I was surprised by it. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back right now. And we really haven't spoken since. I mean, obviously, I saw what just happened with her and
Yeah.
the Jersey Mikes of it all. Yeah.
Weird. Like,
Yeah.
what planet are you on? So I'm assuming then that there's more than just Teresa and Melissa saying I won't film with other people. Obviously, there was a bigger divide.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's the same in the acting world. Like your representatives will say to you, what are you talking about? You're going to quit a show, or, you're getting paid all this money to do make believe this is your dream, and you have to fake it. Because if you're in an office, you're not going to love everybody you work with either. But you don't go to the, CEO and go, I'm not working if
So that's
Karen
so I
over
love
in-
that you just said
oh,
that
shit.
because that's what I struggled with. So in this last season, when I would get, push from some certain cast members, like, you shouldn't be, how could you be friends with this person after what they've done? How could you be friend? And I'm like, well, first of all, they're not just my friend, they're my colleague. Like, we work in the same office. Okay. So just like that, when it's work, you have to learn to live with each other. Right. And
Yes.
so this is not the schoolyard, and I'm not, again, like, I'm 56 now, but these are literally my colleagues. So how can I be cordial to them? It's my job, and it's my job to see it right now from every side. Literally, that is my job, to not just see your side, but to see and hear her side, and to be open to that. And then, so it was frustrating because it is real life. Like, what happens on this show, everybody always asks me, is it real? It is real. Like, these women hate each other's guts. Like, there's no faking it. But it's a microcosm, it's like, so we're here, and this is a different thing than if, you screw over my friend and I see you at a restaurant, I'm just going to give you dirty looks, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. I'm never going to talk to you again and move on. But this is not that, and
No, and people, it's funny. Audience is funny because they always think they take everything very literal.
yeah,
Like if you're an actor and you play a villain, people are going to come up to you and tell you how awful you are. It's just they really take it, but they tune in for it. So,
right, right.
you can't really worry too much about what they're thinking, because the whole social media aspect of it, I would imagine, is pretty soul crushing, I want to
Yeah.
say, because it's horrible. Everybody's got an opinion. People are not their best selves on social media.
Well, so I've only done 2 seasons. So I did, after season 13, the feedback I got was really positive, and it was fabulous. And, I loved reading it. People were very kind to me, and you're funny and you're that. And then now, which I think almost always happens, now we move on to season 14, and, people are not quite as pleased with me. Some are, some aren't. So that's, when I started to have the privilege of having people hate me on social media. My friend got me this T-shirt that says, "Oh, I'm cool enough to get bullied on social media."
Yeah.
Something like that. I was never bullied on social media, but I was, people, whatever, they had their opinions about me, and um, I had to, like, put on my big girl panties and deal with it, and it just comes with it, right? And
Yeah.
so as it went on, I got way better at reading it, and sometimes even, like, when people would say certain things that, like, about, I don't know, my physicality, right? I got not a lot of, but I got, like, she looks like a man or whatever. And did not bother me. And I actually started thinking that it was funny, honestly. Like, you're insecure about different things in your life. I mean, I'm not a beauty queen, but I'm doing okay for 56. I don't
I
care.
think you're
But,
gorgeous.
well, I think you're gorgeous. Thank you. But, like, when people would say she's a bad friend, or she's so fake and she's so two-faced, like, that stuff cut a little deeper, you know? So, but whatever, I would do it again. It
But
was
this is a double-edged sword, because when you get that kind of trolls, when you get
yeah.
that kind of feedback, it means you're doing your job.
Yeah, I know, right? It's true. Like,
Yeah.
and I hate to say it, but, like, I guess you're relevant or whatever because people are talking about you. And I guess, right. So I had to kind of, like, take that in. But it's certainly not fun. Everybody wants everybody to like them. And by nature, I'm kind of a people pleaser. So, but it's okay.
Yeah, but this is what these shows, you that, like, from a production standpoint, like, I look at it from a producer, if you're not getting, hate on social media, then you're boring, you know?
Exactly. Well, first season 13, I got a lot of, like, you're the comic relief, or, like, the Greek chorus. And I loved that. Right. Cause that's kind of was my intention. Like, I've been in therapy for 20 something years. And, like, before I did this, I examined it, and I, like, went through with my therapist, all, like, what are my intentions here? What am I looking for? Is it just fame and money, because it won't probably work out if those are my intentions. But I do like making people laugh. And I do like, I've always craved the spotlight. Like I just have, for whatever reason. So it's embarrassing to say that out loud, but I have. And so, that was my intention. So when I would hear she's comic relief, I eat that up. But the tides turned a little bit. It wasn't, listen, I didn't get it half as badly as my co-stars.
No,
So,
for
and
sure.
maybe because I was a friend of and not, an actual
Well,
housewife.
no, I mean, I think your head is screwed on tight. So, it's, that shows.
I
It
hope
really
so.
does,
I hope
because
so.
the other ones who were like half off, it's, yeah,
Yep.
you
I'm gonna
definitely were more
You,
stable. I'm sure the 20 years of therapy helped.
Jen, I have a question. Nicole and I, obviously, we talk about Housewives every single show on this show, and we there's a game to be played. As you said, I love the fact you admitted you were a fan of the Housewives franchise before you jumped on. I hate when people said, "I never saw the show." I'm like, come on.
Give me a break.
You're about to get hired to do a job and you never saw the show. You didn't do any homework. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But there has to be some kind of balance of knowing I got to go in and I have to be entertaining enough that they keep me on. And also at the same time, I can't go in and burn every bridge where nobody will film with me. So
Yeah.
in your mind, are you thinking of that scale at all? Or you just, as you
Yeah.
said, you okay, you did. It wasn't one where you
It's
didn't pull
hard.
I forgot the cameras were there and what happened happened.
People call it, self-producing. And I think I did my fair share of that. And you don't want to do that. That's not, that never really works. But getting in your head is, I couldn't help it. There were times, I mean, it wasn't all the time, but you're watching yourself, you're out here kind of watching what's going on and trying to control it. And that's when I think it doesn't work. Right. I mean, people say that now about some of the shows that are on right now, they're too self-produced. But yeah, like trying to figure out, oh God, it's like a chess game, right? It's like
Yep.
trying to be strategic about it, but also be yourself and be authentic, because that's what makes this work, is when, when the cast is really authentic. So I think it's, you're walking that line a little bit. But if I ever do it again, if I get the chance to do it again, I think that I would change that part of myself that was so nervous, or was, watching from above, because I'm happy with what I did. I gave it my all and I did the best that I could. And I am happy with, how things turned out. But if I ever got a chance to do it again, I think I would let go a little bit more. It's hard, right? It's hard to not monitor yourself and not want to please everyone. And so I think those are the best housewives, the ones that just don't give a shit.
Yeah, they just
No.
don't give a
Agree.
shit. Well, let me ask you something. So you guys are shooting, and do you get to watch the first season that you're on, or are you're already still shooting for the next season, right? So it's not like it's not exactly like a scripted show where you shoot, stop, and then you see the
No,
season.
you do. We had seen the whole season before we started. We saw
You
all
did.
13 before we picked up.
Oh,
So
okay.
after the reunion, after the 13 reunion is when we still didn't know who was going to get asked back. So we didn't know. I mean, everyone did. So we took a very small break after that reunion and then picked back up. But we had seen the whole thing. Oh yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. So
that's
people
you
were
have
like,
to woosah, calm down. Yeah,
yeah.
that, because you see everything everybody said, and it just digs it all back up and makes it fresh again, huh?
Does. It really does. I mean, even worse than fresh, right? Because you didn't see the shit that people were saying behind your back in their confessionals. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's hard.
it is hard. It makes for great TV though,
It
right?
certainly does. Yeah. I'm wondering if there'll be like a spin-off, if they'll like Dave and I are we're Gorga fans.
Yeah, me
We're
too.
team Gorga. Although, I mean, I can't imagine reality TV without Teresa on it somewhere.
Me too.
It's
Yeah,
it's
we're all
tough
lined
one.
up. The three of us have to get a show because everything you're saying, I'm like, I feel
Right?
the same way. Yes, of course. I mean, I love Melissa Gorga. Teresa and I, well, we were filming even after we haven't had any beef between us, and she is an icon, like period, full stop.
Yeah.
So she is just TV gold. And I think Melissa is as well. whether or not you agree with Teresa or Melissa, those two women are a perfect example of getting on reality TV and being authentic and just, not and being able to, in this bubble, really just moment to moment be themselves. And they're unbelievable reality TV stars. So, I mean, I can't imagine the show without either one of them.
I know, and it's part of it is just so sad that, like, if it wasn't for this show, they probably would all still be a family. It's sister-in-laws. I mean, that's a tough relationship, I would imagine. I don't know, I've never had one, but I would imagine it's sort of tough.
Not
And
tough like that. Not tough like that. That's a whole new level of tough.
yeah,
That is a
but
level that, like, that was a made for TV tough. So,
do
yeah,
you
that's
think though
brutal.
that the show contributed to so
Yeah,
much of that?
of
Because I
course.
really feel like as much as Teresa is fearless, I feel like she was so jealous of Melissa and Joe getting
I think
spotlight.
that
And
I know because she said it so many times that she felt betrayed by that. And, you look at it though from Melissa's angle and think about how it was a gift, because look how this show blew up with Melissa and Teresa, and they were both, the reason that people were tuning in. It wasn't one of them or the other. So, I know that was hard, but then they got past it, and then there was something else, and then there was something else, and then there was something else, and they got to the point, I guess, where there was no going back. Although I'm one of the few people that think one day, maybe when years from now, the show is not around anymore, they could find their way back. I don't care what anyone says. I think that Joe and Teresa will always love each other, and we'll be sad about this.
yeah, and especially for the kids, and it's just this whole family that is divided because of
Yep.
this TV show. But always, like, from the viewer, I look at it and I'm like, there's room for everybody, like, settle down, share in the spotlight. There's room for everybody, and I think when they're in it, they don't realize that, and it's like
It's a
they
very
want
big yes, there's a definite feeling like when you're on it, there's the fight for time, the fight for camera time, the fight for, the focus. Like, um, I would get so as a friend of, like, when we started season 14, I would know that my fellow cast members were, like, let's say, filming a scene, and I wasn't called for it, right? For whatever reason, I was a friend of. And it would be people that I was okay with everybody, but for whatever reason, I wasn't filming that day, and I would find myself feeling really, really jealous, and, feeling just so out of it. And my head would start to spin, and that's, it messes with your head. I got plenty of screen time. I mean, I look at it now and I feel very grateful. I didn't, even though I was a friend of, I feel like I was a part of an ensemble, and I was as much a part as anyone else. That maybe I just tell myself that, but that's how I feel. That's how I
I
felt.
agree.
But thank you. But in the moment, it's like, it's a very nerve-wracking thing. You want that camera time, and you get very threatened when you don't get it. And I think that's probably true for everyone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
it's like being
interesting.
invited to a party after school and you weren't invited. I mean, come on, just
Exactly.
and it's human nature. It makes sense. It's
Right.
funny. Nicole just said something that when you said, there's room for everyone, because Nicole's been in the business, like she
Yeah, I
understands. There's
know.
plenty to go around. But I don't
I've
think in
known
Teresa's
Nicole for
mind
a
there is
long
room for
time.
everybody. Like in
Yeah.
Teresa's mind, there's only room for me, and you guys get the scraps.
I think that, Teresa is very aware that she is the
The
icon. She is
franchise.
the face of the Housewives of New Jersey. And I do think that comes, there's a certain amount of respect that she should get for that, but also so should Melissa. I think that Melissa came after Teresa, but she is just as much, in my mind, the face of New Jersey. But I definitely think that it is human nature to battle out, like, to want to be the one, right? To want to be at the top of the pile.
But
And
that's not okay. Okay, sure, that's human nature and that's your
yeah,
natural instinct, but you have to get that under control. Like, we don't get to just act on every impulse and
well,
every
if you're a housewife,
feeling.
you do.
I guess so.
I agree with you. Like, I have to, I try to be very self-aware. I try to check my ego. I try to be grateful. You know, I try to control my instincts, some of my, baser instincts. But I think that on the Housewives, that's probably not even helpful. You want to have that Hunger Games mentality, right? And you want to go in there. And I said that from the beginning, and a couple of my cast members actually stole it from me. But I was like, it's like the Hunger Games, right? Like you are thrown into this arena and you try to make alliances just to stay alive. And then you make these alliances, but eventually you're going to have to turn on each other, right? Because I mean, it's not true. There's not only one left standing at the end, but it's that feeling, right? There's this very competitive, and I am willing to bet that every single franchise feels that way. And if they say that they don't, they're full of it. Like all of these women, when I started, I got into it at one point with Jackie Goldschneider, and it was very short lived, and it got lost on the editing floor. But I had this big fight with her, and when I left this party, I said to one of the producers, I'm done. I quit. This is not for me. This is not my energy. I don't want this in my life. Fuck this. And he's like, you really? Mm-hmm. Call me tomorrow. Call me tomorrow and tell me the same thing, and it is very addictive. It's like such an adrenaline rush to be on these shows, or at least it is for me. And then to have these cameras, and I feel like I said this to somebody the other day, because now that we're not filming, I'm basically a sloth. Like I'm the kind of person that I don't want to move out of my bed, and I can get like, I'm very lazy unless I can't be, right? So like this morning I thought, well, you should shower. You're doing Nicole Eggert podcast, so get out of the bed. But like otherwise I would probably just not move. But in the filming of it, again, there was a lot of anxiety, but there's this feeling of being alive, right? And of like getting up and getting ready, and everybody's, on the phone, like this happened. Oh my God. And the hair and the makeup, and who am I? I have this glam team coming over, and then people are miking me, and it's such an adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I see you get yourself twisted. Like, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this. So even when you're at the top, I think you're always scared because you don't want to lose it. When you're at the bottom, you're just trying to crawl up the ladder. I don't know.
Yes, no, we just had Perez Hilton on, and he was talking about the same thing, the addiction to the attention
Yes.
and the spotlight and all of that. It's a very real thing.
Yeah.
It's
It is. I'm not proud of it. I mean, I don't, I don't feel like it's a great thing. And as my therapist would say to me many times, like, again, you're at the top or you're at the bottom, and you're always scratching where you want to really be, is like not on the ladder, like outside of the ladder, like living in dignity, period. Like whether or not this show continues, whether or not I'm famous, whether or not people know who I am, like I am, sounds so corny, you guys, but like I'm good, I'm special, I'm enough, I'm loved, blah, 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 right? Like without having to be fed that from the show. But like everyone else, I mean, I get caught up in it. It's a rush.
Well, I think it's healthy that you're like aware of it, and you can, put it in its box, and and you can admit it. So obviously you have a healthy relationship with it, because a lot of people can't admit that.
Well, listen, I want it. I would love to come back. I would love for it to come back, and I'd love to be on it. I will be okay if it doesn't come back, or if it doesn't, I'm not on it. I will continue to live my life and move on and whatever. But yeah, it is very addictive. I mean, Nicole, I don't know,
Yeah.
I've been watching you on my TV for so many years. So I got like, when you guys reached out to me, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, I love that. Well, you're on my TV for years.
Not for years, my friend.
This is why I'm not good at any of this, because I don't love the attention. It freaks me out, gives me anxiety. I love acting. I love the process of a project coming together and happening, and then watching it get edited, and the final product and how people receive it. Like I love all of that, but I really kind of freak out at the attention. Like a red carpet, I'd rather poke my eyeballs out,
I hear people, I know that that's a thing. Like I know that a lot of people on TV are introverts, right? Which is amazing to me. That how does that translate into being a TV star?
Yeah, because the process of like making a project has nothing to do with, at least for me, has nothing to do with that attention and people screaming your name and the flashing lights and all that. It's very different. It's like you're making a project and you're doing a thing, and then you hope people like it, but there's that part of it. And
well, that's a healthy way to be. I mean, that's like That's what I would like to feel that way, not to be afraid of I do like all of that, but to
But
not
I
be
don't think it
doing it.
gets you very far. I don't think being like me gets you very far.
I'm going to disagree. I think you've done okay for yourself, lady.
Okay, but I haven't like pursued anything for many years. I'm a sloth. I haven't been on an audition in 20, 30 years. Like
Really?
no joke. I just don't when I know paparazzi are going to be somewhere, I don't go there. I'm
Wow.
all those things. I don't push myself for that. So I think I've done myself injustice in that regard because you sort of have to be out there and be seen all the time to stay in the minds of producers
I know,
and
right? My
casting directors.
PR. Yep. My
Yeah, you have to, and I'm
PR guys.
terrible.
You have to, and I don't like it, the social media of it all, and I have to post and I have to get content, and I don't do it. And they're constantly like, we've asked you to do this. And I'm not good at that, actually. I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think I'm good at creating content. That feels it doesn't come organically to me. I try, but be funny I'm a funny person by nature. I know that I have a good sense of humor, but on demand, not so much. I feel like it becomes, I get in my head. So, but you have to stay relevant, stay relevant.
Yeah, it's a
You know,
full-time job. People
it is.
don't realize that. Do you
It
have
is.
like a crew? Do you have people that helps you with your social media, with your content, or do you do it yourself?
Else, no. I
Okay.
have two guys who I absolutely couldn't live without, that I love and adore, and they do all of the content, and they do, they book me, and no, I am not interested in knowing how to do all of that social media. I mean, again, I always pull out the age card, but not for me. I'm 56 years old. My kids are, they can't even try to teach me it because they just give up. So I
Yeah.
definitely know I farm that out for sure.
Yeah. I need to get on board with that because I'm terrible at doing content as well. And you have to. It's just like it's
Yeah.
part of the deal now.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't even know where to begin. I know Prez was saying to me, you have to monetize. You can't just be doing this
Yeah.
and not getting, not monetizing from it. But I don't even know where you begin with that. Like
You begin, in my opinion, if you can't do it, there are certain things in life that are worth paying for, I mean,
yeah.
you throw money at it a little bit if that's what you want. I mean, I had to do that. I knew that I was not capable and I still, like, if you ask the guys that are helping me, they would tell you I still suck at it and I don't have enough content. And even though I pay people to do it, you have to show up, right? Like you got to be filming yourself. I was in Florida recently for my best friend's birthday, and they're like, get a ton of content while you're there. Get a ton of content while you're there. I don't know. I take a lot of pictures. I try to do a few FaceTimes, but not easy for me. Some people comes natural to most of the housewives, I think.
Yeah, for people because they just love to be filming themselves. I was better at it. It was really weird. When I got my diagnosis, I was really good at doing it all. And I said, I'm going to document all of this. I was producing a documentary and I said, I'm going to, shoot myself, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And it's really interesting because through my journey and my healing and taking care of myself, I pick up the camera even less.
Really?
Like, yep. Even things that I would normally, like, I'll find myself, my youngest is she does competitive cheer, and I'll find myself forgetting to take any pictures because I'm like so living in the moment. So it's like, it's pulled me even more away from documenting and picking up the camera. And it's just a weird thing that's
I think
happened.
isn't that probably like the healthy way to be?
Yes. I mean,
to actually be in the moment. I mean, that's, we could have a whole, I'm sure, other podcast about the evils of social media and our kids and all of that, but like to actually be living something and not just recording it. I missed a lot of special moments because I was so busy, trying to capture them.
and plus, we grew up not doing that. I
Right.
mean, you only had 24 pictures you could take.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
and it's like, you weren't going to waste it on just everything,
Right.
So, uh, it's, it wasn't natural. And then when it came out and it was all the thing, I found it very fun because it was new and it was fresh and I loved doing it. And then I went back to living in the moment and, I forget to pick up the damn camera all the time now.
How are you doing? Because you look absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. I'm doing well. I just met with one of my doctors, and he's a great doctor, and he's a great guy, and he gives back, and he does a lot. But I call him my Dr. Doom, because every time I leave there, I'm dying. Like there's no way for me to live through this. Everything is going to kill me. He's the guy that gives me all the bad case scenarios. The other doctors are all best case scenarios. So I just met with him, and I walk out of there like, oh man, damn it, I can't do anything. I only have, because they say more than 1 in 3 women get metastatic cancer after they've beat breast cancer. So more than 1 in 3 is weird statistics to me, and I don't like it because it's not precise. And
I've known plenty of women that have had breast cancer. That seems like that's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Yeah, they forget that part. They don't let you know that part, that you're constantly on alert because anything you can do. So I was meeting with him. He's my surgeon, about the boobs. I've had 1 mastectomy, and I have an expander in there that looks crazy and is so uncomfortable. And then I've got 1 real boob. And for some reason, he really wants me to keep the 1 real boob. And I'm like, but it has a nipple. And the other one doesn't at this moment. I want to match. And he's like,
right.
You're young. A lot of women, they enjoy having 1 natural breast. And if you have surgery and then you have metastatic cancer from it because your immune system was down, you're going to really kick yourself. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I'm talking about getting a hysterectomy. There's so many surgeries in my future. What are you talking about? So every time I have surgery, I might get metastatic cancer. So then I have to talk to another doctor who says, no.
I probably couldn't go to that doctor. I live in doom and gloom. I don't think I could handle it. Even if I'd rather be lied to. I think I couldn't. That would be hard for me. I'm definitely I'm a doom and gloom girl, unfortunately.
Okay.
So that would be hard. You have to be very strong, and I'm sure he's a wonderful doctor. Not to
That's the thing. That's why I don't want to leave him.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my throat. I had radiation, so it hit my throat, and it's giving me problems. But so excuse me, guys. Excuse me, everyone, for my icky throat. But yeah, so now I'm just on all these hormone blockers that I started last Friday, and I was telling Dave before the show, there's one that I have to go in to the office once a month for the next 10 years. So I was like, I'm such a non-committal person. I was like, I don't know if I can commit to that.
You got to commit.
I got it. And they're like, well, then you have to have a hysterectomy, because I wasn't menopausal when I got my diagnosis. I was on the younger side, so they've got to get my body through they've got to put it through menopause.
Push you into menopause, right?
Yeah, so I'm in the process of that. I'm waiting for those effects to start. So I've started the 3 treatments to get me into menopause. So
it's hard. That's very hard. But I had a hysterectomy, so got also sort of pushed into menopause. I didn't have cancer, but I had this tumor that was non-cancer. Anyway, but it's getting pushed into menopause is a harder, I think, than just going through it naturally. It happens very quickly. It's intense. I'm so sorry that you're going through that.
Well, so far I haven't had any effect. So a lot of women say they get it immediately, and I'm like, well, I don't want to jinx myself, but I am feeling fine. Just body aches, which listen, that's what cancer does. It robs you of your body feeling good for the rest of your life. But how was the hysterectomy? I need to know now. Now I need to know, because I'm interested in doing it so that I don't have to do this shot.
It was, to be quite honest with you, uneventful in terms of, I don't know if maybe that's not the right choice of words, but it was certainly not painful.
Okay.
At all. And it didn't, I had it laparoscopically, I guess. Right. And all I could tell you is that I was already beginning menopause anyway. So, I had my ovaries and my fallopian tube removed, and it wasn't anything that I can even tell you about the surgery or because I have had plenty of after effects of surgery that I've chosen. So plastic surgery, I could tell you a lot about the pain of a tummy tuck, but in terms of a hysterectomy, it was a partial hysterectomy. No, it really just wasn't. No, outpatient kind of situation. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I can't speak for everyone's experience with that, obviously, but mine was not eventful.
Yeah, that's what I hear most often. So
yeah.
Gosh, yes, that's and I actually, the doctor, I'm going to find another doctor because he was really weird and horrible. He was one of these men that was like, you're old, your ovaries are no good. What are you here for? Like, he couldn't give a shit about me in my life.
Good
He was
God.
like, and he goes, I would sell it. I could sell your organs on eBay. He goes, but then they wouldn't be worth anything because they don't work. And I was like, what? I was like, what? What am I hearing?
Excuse me?
Yes, I kid you not. This man said that to me, and I just and I said, but I want to know about side effects and stuff like that. He's like, what are you gonna? You're not gonna feel any different. They already don't work. You're already like, and I mean, he should have just called me an old bag, and I'm expired. It was
Wow.
the craziest thing. So
Fucked up.
I called my primary. I was like, he's crazy. He's not
That's
coming
fucked
near
up.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not letting him near me. Get me a new one. So
Yeah. Well, I'll also tell you that so many of my friends, for whatever reason, I don't know why everybody had fibroids, but so many of my friends
I have it.
had hysterectomies, and no one. I mean, I don't want to say that because I don't know how it would be for you or for anybody but me. But for most of my friends, it was uneventful, really. If you do decide,
Yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah.
what I thought. And I think the side effects are going to be the same as me getting this shot.
right?
You know, and
Menopause.
this shot is this huge. I was telling Dave because we do a lot. I've had a lot of body piercings in my life. My kids have had body piercings, so I'm like pretty familiar with the gauges. It is so big, this needle that goes into your stomach. I don't know if I can commit to this for the next 30 years. I mean, next 10 years. It's the hysterectomy, because the hysterectomy, those organs are just problem children in my eyes going forward. Like, they can't do anything for me except cause problems.
I mean,
And
I think that's how I would see it. I don't know. Do you have the BRCA gene?
I do not.
You do not. So, I know people. I mean, there are many famous people. I guess Angelina Jolie, who, once you have BRCA, they suggest that you remove, your ovaries and all of your reproductive organs. I think that if I had it, I would do that very quickly. I don't know.
Yeah,
But everybody's different. Everybody feels differently about it.
they
But
do.
yeah, I
And
agree.
everybody has a different kind of
Troublemaker.
cancer.
At this point, they're troublemakers,
They're
right?
troublemakers. And I have a fibroid. So, like, all of this seems to me like,
Yeah.
oh, just, you're uninvited. Get out.
Right.
You're getting eviction notice. Yeah, because my cancer is estrogen driven. So there's so many different kinds of cancers. Mine is estrogen is the culprit. So
Yeah.
I've really got to get it all out.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
And how about you, Dave?
support whatever your decision is. I support.
Thank you. And I'm glad to talk about it and share about it because it normalizes it.
Listen, I have a friend right now who's going through a blood cancer that's multiple myeloma, and out of nowhere, like literally just boom, and it just changes everything. It sucks.
It's really hard.
And she's amazing, and she will be okay, and thank God we're in 2025, and she'll get into remission, and she'll get through this very difficult year. But I don't know, it's everywhere. It sucks. It really
It really
does.
does.
Yeah.
There's so many, and there's so much promising research coming up. With if it's vaccines, if it's stem cell, there's just so much
Yeah.
that to for in the future for our women to not have to go through chemotherapy would be, and men to not have to go through the chemotherapy and the radiation is
Right.
that's the goal.
Yes. Amen.
Amen. And all my best to your friend, and she
Thank
will get through it. Yeah.
As will you, my friend.
Yeah. For sure. I have no choice.
Yes.
Jennifer, if you don't mind, before you go, can I ask one more Housewives question to you?
Well, please.
Okay.
Mhm.
So here's the interesting thing: is Nicole and I were in Southern California. All right, we're very familiar with Beverly Hills and Orange County. I mean, just before the show, we know those areas really well. So New Jersey, I'm not familiar with. Nicole and I go to New York a lot. Not together, but we go to New York a lot. But we love New York.
Yeah.
New Jersey, when it came on, for people who haven't been in New Jersey, number one, I think a lot of people were shocked the amount of money, the size of the houses, and then well, if that's explained, then and like, my wife's Italian, so this is not a slur, but it's the feeling of their mafia ties, and so that can't be exactly what people that jumped on the show with were excited to be around. Wait a second, we're being accused of, illegal activities.
Right.
But
No.
kind of
I,
a two-parter question for you on this one.
yeah.
I'll let you answer that part on how you guys felt as far as, wait, this is our community. We love where we're at. There's a reason why we chose to live here. And two is, how would the housewives on that show do if they were, let's say, transported to having to be a full season of Beverly Hills or Orange County? How would they intermix?
I think those are two fun, great questions. Well, first I would say to you that I'm not from Jersey. I actually grew up in Texas, of all things, and met my husband living in New York City. And all of a sudden, and now I have 2 Jersey kids, and I am from Jersey now. And Jersey is, I probably thought of it as, people call it the armpit, but like I was never going to live in New Jersey. Meanwhile, New Jersey is beautiful. And like every other state, there are parts that aren't beautiful, but there are so many gorgeous parts of Jersey. There's the hills, there's the beach, there's the shore. Suburban Northern Jersey, which is where I live, is really beautiful, and it's close to New York City. So there's so many great things about Jersey. I'm Jewish, and so going on the show, it's known as a show that mainly it's really been Italian, right? It's most of the cast members have always been Italian. I don't know that I ever was worried about that, the like stereotypical mob situation. I don't think so, but I know that like that's how it's depicted, and people identify, I think, the housewives with, like, let's say Jersey Shore, and it's, I guess, a tough crowd, and they're all the franchises are different, but if you're going to stereotype it, like Jersey is down and dirty a little bit, and yes, maybe it's like, I don't know, associated with the fact that Jersey's is identified as mob. I mean, the Sopranos, I don't know, maybe that, but that was never really in my head. I never really thought about, I'm afraid to get on the show because what if these people are mobsters? I think, is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking, did it bother you it was depicted that way? I'm telling you, I'm Jewish too, and my wife's Italian. When I married into an Italian family,
My husband's half
I
Italian.
I got the same thing. Like, hey, what's the background? But that's from the movies. That's from,
Yeah.
as I said, Sopranos,
yeah.
Saturday Night Fever, all that stuff. No, my question really was, did it bother you that a community you chose to live in was
Yes.
being people
Okay.
had basically a bad idea of what
Yes.
it's really like?
It bothers me that, and you see sometimes like the other franchises making these comments about Jersey that piss me off. Like, people take jabs at Jersey, right? And I think that they think that it's low class or whatever, low budget. And it does really piss me off because the truth is, these women on the show have a lot going on. And yeah, there are accents and there's big hair, but these women are also, elegant women in their own right, and they're mothers, and they have whole big lives, and lots of them have lots of money, and no different than, these other franchises. But people love to make fun of Jersey, the way we dress or talk, although I don't think I have a Jersey accent, but a lot of the women do, but who cares, but yes, I do think it's obnoxious. A lot of times Jersey is depicted as kind of trashy. Yeah.
It's the same thing with Orange County. Here, Orange County has a stigma. They call it behind the orange curtain, and it's considered like white trashy. So,
really?
Yeah. And I grew up a lot in Orange County. I lived back and forth. My dad built a house in Huntington Beach, so I spent a lot of my childhood, and I would get that all the time. The stigma of yes. But now it's a destination. Now it's really high-end real estate, and everybody wants to be there.
I go to Laguna. We go to Laguna like once a year because my husband has this conference there every year. It is so gorgeous.
Oh,
I
heaven.
absolutely love it there. And the second part of the question is in terms of like, do you think that there can be like well, I will tell you
how would they get along? How would the women, if you say you picked up and you said, we're doing a full season of New Jersey, Teresa with Kyle and everyone else on Beverly Hills,
I
or
think they were on the same, Teresa, Melissa, Kyle, they were on an Ultimate Girls Trip together.
Yeah, they do that show.
But
don't forget.
Yeah, no, I'm talking a full
like
season. I'm talking like 15 episodes. Would it fit or not fit?
Not fit, probably.
Not fit.
Although, wait, let me back that up. Okay, let me back that up. I personally, and please don't puke when I say this out loud, but I think I could fit in.
I do. I think you could too.
I'm not, and I don't mean to be obnoxious about that, but I think like I would
I
love to
agree.
be on. Thank you. So, but there are some cast members on both. Like, would Lisa Vanderpump fit in Jersey? I don't see it.
No.
I think it like goes both ways, right? And with
Yeah, that's true.
Teresa fit,
That's true.
hanging out with Dorit, maybe not. I don't see them connecting, right? It's like definitely a different lifestyle. One is not better or worse, but certainly different, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think
but if,
Dorit's a Connecticut girl too.
oh,
I think
that's
she.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. And Connecticut and Jersey, there's those are definitely different stereotypes. But having said all that, I would love to see it. I would tune
me
into
too.
that show. Whether or not it would work between them, it would work for me. I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, because Ultimate Girls Trip is too short.
Yeah.
It's too short
Yeah.
for anything to
And
really
now I don't
like.
think it even exists. I don't think they're doing it anymore. So
Well, they did that last one and they had to scrap it because
know.
it got so bad, and
know.
now we'll never see it. And yeah,
Which
everything.
I don't know why. Like, even if it got bad, that happens on the Housewives too. Like, yeah, it doesn't, whatever, ship goes down, and I understand them canceling, or they didn't, that one never came to light. But like, still, I think the idea is so fun. I
So
love a
fun. But I
crossover, right?
think when they get to the point of like they're filing lawsuits and it becomes a legal issue and then they can't air it, that's
Yeah.
again, we go back to, did we forget what we're doing here?
Yes,
Did we
that's
forget
exactly
why
right.
we're all here?
Correct. Right.
You
Yeah.
forgot what you signed up for. It's
Yes.
frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
We do. We want to see it. Yeah. I mean, New York finally got good for the first time last night.
Did you see it last night? I
Yeah.
watched it too.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. And I gotta be honest, I haven't watched it. Last night I've seen clips, but I hadn't really watched it. But whatever the teasers were and the clips were, they did a really good job because I wanted to watch last night.
Yeah, that's it.
And
The rest was a snooze fest,
Awful.
and then all hell broke loose finally last
it was
night.
intense, man. That was
Yeah.
intense, right?
Yes. And
About
so
time.
now we know they're going to be back for the next season because it was so good, and now everybody wants to hate Bryn. So I feel like there's a whole new season with them when I thought that this
Maybe.
was going to be it. I thought they were
I
going to be
don't know.
scrapped.
I don't know. I don't know. If I'm a betting girl, I'm betting that it's coming back, but I don't know what form. I don't know who's going to be there, who's not. Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
terrible.
Yeah.
Well, this reunion is going to tell a lot, I think, because of because this last night's episode left it is like, oh, we're wanting more. Then we have the reunion, and then we'll see how we feel after that to see, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
they were really boring.
I mean, yeah, they were. I
They were.
can't lie. I'd be pissed
They
though.
were
If
overproduced.
I was saying that, I'd be like, what? But I don't think I'm alone in that. Something didn't click.
No, they were all self-producing, as you talked about earlier.
Yeah,
It's so much that it took the fun out of it.
But then there's Salt Lake City.
Oh God.
Love it.
Oh, this crazy one, Brittany, I'm watching her on social media. Dave, did you see she's walking around Vegas with her face painted green, singing Wicked songs?
Yes.
No, I didn't see it.
Breaking out in song in public
She's always
places, and
singing now.
nobody's like
Nutty.
looking at her. Nobody.
Wow.
Even acknowledging her, and she can't stand it. So she's getting like more and more outlandish in each video, and just nobody gives a shit. She's so strange.
But
so
that's
funny.
like the beauty of it, right? It's like I actually felt the whole season like they were all picking on her, and I'm like, give me a break. She's like that's so easy, right?
Yeah.
She's so wacky, and she's so sort of like
awkward
and silly, and so they're picking on her, and I'm like, I don't even enjoy watching them picking on her because she's just sort of. It's easy.
Fragile.
It's easy to do. She's a little kooky. So, she's not, I don't want to say anything bad about her because she does seem like a sweet woman, but she's
too sweet. Like, I feel like she's fragile. I feel like she's going to crack and break and explode at any minute. So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I feel too.
Cuckoo.
I don't know. I tell you what, if I had to give awards out though, Mary is the most improved player.
Oh.
Like I was so done with her for years,
Amen.
and I was like, all of a sudden, oh my God, she's the most
Amen.
improved player.
I did not think that I would be rooting for Mary ever. I thought she was really mean. And I find myself I just love her. I can't.
Me too.
Because you love someone that you can see and she really opened herself up. That's the point. That's what we're all supposed to be doing, right? But damn, she really did.
Yeah. And she came with it. I mean, I feel really bad about the struggles with her son, but she's comic relief. And then she showed us this whole vulnerable side and the pain that she's going through, and you can understand her better. And
That's the thing also, like, I don't tend to like the characters that are funny, but they're funny in a mean way. I was never a Bethany fan. I just
Right.
thought and people would
Me
say to me,
neither.
like, "You" this is back way before I was ever even thought of doing the show, but, like, I would have a couple of my friends would be like, "You remind me of that Bethany from the New York Housewives."
Oh,
Like, I like the idea that you think I'm funny and she's funny, but I think she's mean, and I don't like mean.
she is.
And so I thought of Mary that way, and then she, like, opened herself up and said, "This is what's gone on with me, and this is why I'm so defensive, and I've been abandoned," and all of a sudden, I'm like, "Team Mary, baby,"
Yeah.
you know?
But
Let me tell you,
Mary,
we haven't talked about it, Nicole, on the show, but one of the most underrated scenes is when Mary's trying to get into the temple when she's having the bat mitzvah. Holy
yeah,
cow.
Yeah,
It
and
was
she's,
one
like,
of it
circling
was
it.
so damn
That was the
funny.
best.
In the background of the windows. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
she's so
Loved it.
funny.
right.
She's so funny. But her mean is different than Bethany's mean because it's just so honest. Whereas I feel like Bethany always came
Yeah,
across as like attacking people and
I
mean
think
girl
that's true,
energy.
like, the whole inbred thing, like, I say that, it was mean, but it was
So
also
funny.
I was like, I never saw anything quite like it. Like, she wasn't apologizing for it, and it was mean, you're right, but it was like, she was saying it very matter of fact, "Yeah, you look inbred."
Yeah, and she thinks
I'm not trying
everything
I don't wanna
smells.
hurt your feelings, I'm not trying to hurt anyone, but you just do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know, and I can relate to her with the smells. Like she everything stinks. I'm like,
yes.
I'm always like, what is that smell? Why does this smell like this? I'm big on smell,
You know,
so
that's a thing. My friend has that. That's like a thing. Like if
it
you have a thing
is.
with smells, it's like it could be or sounds. It's like a I don't know. It's like a syndrome of some kind.
It is. It is. My youngest has that sound syndrome. She has
Really?
it. I have the smell one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm judgy about it. I can find myself being very judgy about the smell. So yeah, I relate to her on that. Well, thank you so much. I mean,
What fun.
I want to
It's a lot of
see you
fun.
on TV. Yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens with Jersey.
Me too.
And I think we can never give up hope because we see what happened with Miami. They went
Right.
away for
Right.
so long and came back. It came back with a bang. So
Hope you're right. I love Miami.
yeah.
I hope you're right. We will see.
Yeah, well, we all want to see it. So I'm sure Bravo's aware of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it
Me
can't
too.
go away. Can't
Yeah.
go away.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you guys so much. I wish everything good for you. Good health, all good things, both to both of you.
Thank you,
thank you.
Jen.
And to you
It's very
too.
nice.
To
Okay.
everyone. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
Well, okay.
That was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. That was a lot of fun. That did not disappoint at all. We were looking forward to that for a long time. That was really neat. That was
Yeah.
cool.
And it's fun to be able to talk to somebody who's been in that madness
Yeah.
that is has their head on straight, right? Who can like
Yes.
tell us straight up. That I found that amazing. Because
Yeah.
that honesty, you're not going to find that. A lot of people are going to come on here and they're going to tell their side of something and from their perspective. And she's so I always got that vibe from her, but talking to her, she is just so well-rounded, very aware. She's here, she's in the now, she gets it.
Well, that's why we liked her on the show because she wasn't a kiss ass. It wasn't like literally we've seen people on that show who they might not agree with Teresa at all forever, and then all of a sudden they gravitate towards it because that's the winning side. Like the only way to survive is if I'm friends with Teresa. But we've seen them in the past. No, they don't believe in what Teresa says. But she was loyal and to herself. And that if you were on that show, you would have been her. That's what you would have been. You would have been that person that says, I know who I am, and I'm not selling myself to anybody.
Yeah.
That's what's going to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot, Nicole. That was nice.
Yeah, me too.
That was good. I know we've run a little bit long. By the way, I know people are sending in questions for your mailbag. We're not getting rid of the mailbag segment. We have questions for Nicole. So if you want to get those in, please submitting those, and we will get those on future shows. But we do appreciate the effort and the questions, I promise.
Yes, we love it. And again, with the merch, if you want to donate, we are taking donations also. The merch, the mugs are 20, t-shirts are 30, and hoodies are 40, and they're great. They're yummy and super comfy. So let us know and have a good one. We will see you next week.